birthdays. Ready? Dr. Seuss is how old today? Theodore Geisel. Geisel, Dr. Seuss.
Oh.
He's 68.
Oh, at least. What do you say?
90.
How about 80? You're on the right track. Okay, producer, hey, actor-producer Desi Arnaz, senior, is how old? How old is Desi Jr.'s dad?
Oh, Desi's on.
He's been on this show?
Yeah. Oh, 70.
63.
67, you get in between again. Okay. Actress Jennifer Jones. Remember her? She was great. Remember her in Duel in the Sun? What was that guy she ran? She crawled up the mountain. Gregory Peck. She crawled up the sun. What was the mountain? What was his name in that? Kurt or something like that. Matt. And she was screaming and coming, and then they embraced, and then they died. 58. 58.
42.
Ooh, 65.
I don't know who she is.
A little before your time. Okay, that's about it. Okay, our thought for today comes from German poet, dramatist, Christian Felix Weiss. Tomorrow, tomorrow, not today. Hear the lazy people say.
She's 101.
I don't know. What can I tell you? Anyway, we'd like to welcome you to West Coast AM. All right, let us take a call, and then we'll introduce our guest. Let's have everything going here. West Coast AM, good morning. You're on the air.
Would you like to hear how you sound on the air?
Would I like to hear? Well, not really.
Who you think you're talking to?
I know who this is.
Okay. What's you going to be going? Is that the 9th?
Next week, we're going off the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th we'll be
Who was
going.
on last night?
Who was on last night?
Yeah.
Weren't you
Take
listening?
your place?
Weren't you listening to the station?
Faded out. We had no juice. How was your juice up there last night?
Well, I had orange juice, and my wife had tomato juice. We had all kinds of juice. A friend of mine got a job. He had juice in the hotel.
No, we had blackouts down here.
I know. I heard Ken Murray was all over the place.
But you guys have automatic generators that come on up there,
Well, what happened was the station, the lights blinked once, and that was it. But we did have it bad up here. Now, we have a guest, Charlie. We have Vernon Howard here this morning.
tax man?
Not exact. Are you the tax man, Vernon Howard, or are you the Boulder City Vernon Howard?
Yeah, the Boulder City one.
Oh, no, he's the Boulder City Vernon Howard. Oh, that wasn't that funny, Vernon. Come on, Joe.
I know who Vernon Howard is.
Sure.
He's a preacher.
Well, in the nicest sense of the word, yes, in the nicest sense. He preaches a philosophy. The preacher is a teacher and spreads a word, yes.
I got Harvey, you know what I'm talking about.
Of
Out there at Henderson.
In Boulder City. Go a little further south.
Boulder City, right.
Yeah.
Right on the curve on the right, make a right turn, and make another right turn, he's on the right.
You make a right turn and go straight, and he's on the left.
That's it.
You make a right turn at 76.
Right, wait a minute, you make the big curve to the left.
Turn to the right, then
Turn.
sounds like go square
Another
dance.
right turn, he's on the left. Yeah, you're right, okay.
No, left.
Big white building.
How's he doing?
How you doing,
Oh,
Vern?
no, we're doing great out there.
He's doing
Yeah,
super.
Fine.
Yes, he's...
So,
Come out and visit us.
does he know what he's talking about, Harvey?
I've been out there, Charlie, and I would say definitely he knows what he's talking about. Yes.
You think he'll agree with me?
Well, it's all according what you're going to say.
He don't say nothing tonight.
Then he'll agree. I can vouch for that. He'll agree.
Harvey,
So far, we've had a very meaningful conversation, Charlie.
is everything kosher up there?
Everything's copacetic. We're leaving Friday morning, so we will be taking off Thursday night, Friday morning, and we have a couple of people. I think you'll find the show interesting. We have 2 or 3 people filling in on a given night, and they'll be talking about politics, about El Salvador, and they'll talk about government and education, or anything people want to talk about The people coming on are very well-versed, well-read, and well-oiled.
You know, I didn't hear that you was going to have a guest on last night.
Well, I'll tell you, we had a gentleman on, Gadabout, who's been a listener to the show a number of years, and he's studying to get his credential to teach, and he's been a teacher, a substitute teacher for a while, and he wanted to talk about education, and we did. And the gentleman filling in next week for me and Gail came by to look over things, and we just started talking with him, and he stayed with me for the most of the morning.
You know, Harvey, the other day when we were talking about the last time I called in, that I told you that you was in my category when you brought that history subject in, and the gentleman that called in after me.
Yes. All right, Charlie, if you don't mind, can we include Vernon and Amy in this conversation somehow?
We can.
Okay, because they are our guests this morning, and I don't want to get too far afield.
No, but you understand what I'm talking about. He quoted me a little further than what I had time to go.
Who did?
And anyway, you know, Harvey, I'd like to see all Niners get out and participate and stand up for our constitutional rights and our privileges.
All right, I agree.
And Vernon and Howard.
Hi.
Vernon and Howard. It's only one guy here. Vernon and Howard. They're both nice fellas.
Two of them?
No, I'm just having fun with you, Charlie.
It's Vernon and Amy. Amy is here, too.
Vernon and Amy are
Take
here.
a little time to tell a clean joke.
Well, if it's not too clean, I hope.
Well, it's real clean, Harvey.
I'm teasing.
You know, I don't know any dirty jokes.
Well, that's what I hear. Okay, go ahead.
You heard about the little dark horse that ran across the water with a riding a white horse, didn't you?
No, but I'm feeling I'm about to.
No, Harvey, I got it.
Chickened out, huh, Charlie? All right, listen, we want you to listen in and call in and ask for...
Hey,
yes.
Can I speak to this gentleman? He's the fellow that has a preaching service out there, isn't he?
Well, not exactly. Would you call yourself have a preaching service?
No, call it more a teaching service.
There. I kind of equate a teacher and a
Got my
preacher.
amplifier up here.
Okay. No, Vernon is a teacher, and I think what he has to say, most people should be interested in.
They're all the
hearing.
way up and I can hardly hear you.
All right. All right, turn down the frequency in your hearing aid.
Not my hearing aid, it's my amplifier on the phone.
Oh, I thought you had a hearing aid. Okay, Charlie. Go ahead. What do you want to ask Vernon?
Isn't he the one out there? And,
Yes, we've established that. Vernon is the teacher from
New Life Foundation.
New Life Foundation, it's called.
That's one. I just received some literature from that area.
Good, good. Did you read it?
Oh, yes.
All right, I think
Yeah, I
Vernon
may
has...
be a Jew, but I'm still open to suggestion.
I didn't, you don't look Jewish. Okay, go ahead.
Didn't know that, did you, Harvey?
No, I didn't, Charlie.
I'm a German Jew.
Well.
I'm proud of it.
Well, I don't know what to say to that except Gesundheit. That's the only German I know.
Well, I got news for you.
Yes.
I don't care what religion, what you are. You're all children of God.
Good for you, my friend. I agree.
I don't know how your guest feels about that, but that's the truth.
Well, why don't you say something on that, Vernon? Why don't,
Yeah.
All right.
We have, first of all, we have lots of German students out of our classes and all other races and classifications. And
Different denomination, religious denominations?
Yeah, they come from all various walks of life and the church and so on. But there is one thing that they all have in common, sir, which is that they want to find the higher viewpoint, a way to look at life, our daily life. I'm not talking about living up in the sky right now. I'm talking about living right here on Earth with a high viewpoint so that we're not wrongly involved with ourselves and with the exterior world. Or we can go through it and not be bluffed by it, not be scared by it. In very brief, what New Life Foundation is all about is that we want to not be the slave of anything or anyone, but to be our own man and our own woman. This is why ladies like Amy like to come into the classes 4 times a week and find out how to not be the kind of a person that we've always been since we were little children, being scared of everything.
Do you believe that Messiah or as you call Jesus Christ, it will be. Now, Harvey,
Yes.
you've never heard me speak on religion,
No.
have you?
No.
I could quote the Bible upside down, inside out, and backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you, Howard, are you and Amy a fanatic on the Bible?
Oh no, fanaticism means that you're obsessed with an idea, with a mental perception of some kind.
No, I'm not making a derogatory
No, go ahead. That's
or
right.
a slanderous remark against any religion. But how do you feel? And Harvey, you know that we have on our program Jehovah's Witnesses that have called in. I forget, Alan, I think is one of his names.
I might answer that question. A person is fanatical when he has doubts about himself, and his fanaticism rushes out into the world, and he's trying to prove that he's right to himself, not so much to convert other people. When you really know in your heart and in your spirit that you're right, because you've gone through a lot of hard work on yourself and got rid of the junk, at least you're working to get rid of the junk, then there can be no such thing as fanaticism, but in its place is a very, very strong spirit of feeling right about yourself, of feeling right about life, and it's a type of wholeness which does not have the hostility and the drive, the angry drive that fanaticism has. Because when you really know the truth, you don't have to prove it to yourself or to anyone else.
All right, now you're getting the point.
Pardon?
You're right. You're right down towards the 8 ball, right straight down the middle.
That makes sense, doesn't it, what we're talking about?
No, I believe, and I think all of the all-nighters believe, without having to have all this hullabaloo driven down their throats.
You know, we're out at New Life
They
Foundation.
don't believe in a certain belief that they're not a Christian.
Out at New Life Foundation, if you were to come into the class there, you'd find it very...
I think about another, let's see, we've been just a minute. Let me count on my fingers here and my forehead. About 3 years, we're our schedule is we're either going to go north or we're going to stay home.
Charlie, we have to move.
Okay, anyway, Harvey,
Yes.
what I'm saying is I think you got a good point. And the next time, Harvey, and I'm going to invite you right now, and there's millions of people listening to us.
Well, I hope so.
And I'm challenging you to go with me to visit this gentleman.
I've been there. I'd be happy to go with you, Charlie.
If both our lives, if we're both here.
Okay. Well, you'll be here. I don't know about me.
Okay?
Okay, Charlie. Sounds good.
Okay.
Take care.
I want to wish everybody nice health and everything.
Okay, Charlie. Nice hearing from you.
Okay. And have a nice trip.
Thank you.
You're going to go on the 9th?
We're leaving the 9th, yes. We're leaving the morning of the 9th. We're driving down the Sandy to Long Beach, and the boat takes off at 8 o'clock at night.
Harvey, when you get back, if I can pick you up, I'd like to play you a couple of songs. Or one. Apple one or something.
Okay.
On the
Your rummage
Yeah,
sale, whatever it was.
we have
That was great.
Very fine.
We have those about every 3 months, 4 months. We have a big one like that.
Oh.
That one was huge, wasn't it?
Pat showed me that
Yeah.
shirt. Look at this shirt, 50 cents. That was a beautiful
Did you get that
velour
shirt?
shirt. No, Pat was telling me.
Oh,
You had
yeah.
shirts better than this there.
Oh, yeah,
This
those-
was a
yeah.
gift from Gail. She probably spends a lot of money on it. She could have gone shopping at the rummage sale. So you have those let me know when you have those so we can announce
Well,
them.
sure
will you?
will. That'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
fine.
sure.
You have everything. You have pots, pans, appliances. You had refrigerators there, and clothing, and clothing for the kids. And Gail goes crazy at those. She loves garage sales out there. That's the biggest garage sale I ever saw.
They're really a bargain.
But everybody made us feel so comfortable, and I am really grateful to you, both of you.
That was good to have you, and come back anytime you can.
Yeah, you know, everybody who comes to New Life and comes regularly to hear Vernon, everybody likes it there and feels comfortable there. That's why you felt it, too.
I did. It permeated the whole.
It's a safe place. It really is. It's a secure place.
And then you had people getting up to give testimony, to talk.
Uh-huh.
And not one of them seemed uncomfortable. They seemed very anxious to share. You're laughing, why?
One of the reason she's laughing is because Amy and a lot of people get up there and they look good on the outside, but they're shaking inside. However, that we do that deliberately. She's seen a lesson in what we're talking about too.
Well, that's nice,
Yeah.
because I teach public speaking.
Yes, yeah, I know.
And
you know that.
one of the main concepts in the beginning, especially about nervousness and stage fright, is that you don't look nearly as nervous as you feel.
Right.
But I had a feeling that those people really felt comfortable, or they were able to overcome that feeling of nervousness inside, and it came out as energy.
Yes, you should have seen them a few years ago.
Amazing.
Yeah, you know,
It's devastating getting up there.
Oh,
it is.
yes.
But
It's
do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. But you don't know what to do with your hands. You don't know where to look, and then everybody's staring at you.
Yeah, they're looking.
And it is devastating. Getting up in front of people is one of the single most frightening things for people. And to have those people get up there just to give testimony and express their opinions and feelings, that was beautiful. Beautiful to see them handle it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was beautiful to watch Vernon work there. And he sat on his little podium, not a podium, it was a little
Desk.
platform.
Desk.
Sat behind the desk, and you just talked to us.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, it's like when you're tense and you're caught up, and then all of a sudden, or you get to a destination, and all of a sudden the release, you get tired.
Yeah.
And it was so relaxing, so comfortable, and after the trip, and I had finally arrived at the destination that we had planned for all week, and I started to get very drowsy, and it was very comfortable there. The second part, then when you took a break,
Yes.
and then everybody milled around, they had cookies, and they had all kinds of conversation and things going on. And then you started the second half, and I was ready, and it was very brief, but I was all geared up. I had gotten my second wind.
Next time we'll make it longer, the second half.
I was really, it was long enough, I'm not complaining, but I was saying I was much more alert than the first half. It seemed like I was able to overcome that feeling of tiredness, because we are on a crazy schedule.
I know.
And we had tried to come out there for so long, and I was really glad I did. It was a great experience. Gail was very impressed, and so was everybody, the all-nighters.
Amy greeted you royally?
That was so sweet. I really appreciated that. Okay, God, I really felt like a personality. I mean,
You were.
Celebrity. It was nice. You guys are great. All right, we're going to pause for station identification. Well, let's take this call first, okay? West Coast AM, good morning. You're on the air. Okay. No, you're not on the air. Okay. Let's do it.
It's now going on. The great giveaway at Hotel.
Our Gilles are here, and are you ready?
All set. Here we go.
Comes my heart. Here comes my liver. Of course, you said to talk about the inner life.
Inner life.
Get it?
And
my heart, my
and
liver.
that too.
Okay. Amy is having a sneezing spell.
Anger. If a man is always exploding in anger, acting real tough and all that, he's a weak man. And the connection is this, is his structure, his psychological structure and his emotional structure is so weak that he has to explode to pretend he's strong. Anger is the big bluff. But I always fell for it. Every time, if I had a boyfriend or something and he would get mad at me, I'd always cower and think, oh, he's so strong, he must be right. But he wasn't. He was a weakling, and he was faking it. And Vernon told us girls about that, so now us ladies after life can't be fooled by that anymore.
They're seeing through us, Art.
No, it's too late. Well, I'm not in that rat race anymore, so I don't have. But I guess men and husbands and wives play that game too, don't they?
They do all the time.
It's all.
And they both of them suppress the irritations they have toward each other because they don't know else to do with the irritations. And we teach them what to do with it, whether you're married or single or whatever. What you can always do with the irritation or the hostility of another person is to understand that you really don't have to be a target for it. There's no such thing as a person being compelled to feel hurt over the hostility or anger or the weakness or foolishness of the opposite sex or anyone else. You can be a new kind of a person inwardly, as Amy and the ladies are finding out, so that you are not afraid in yourself so that when someone else tries to make you afraid, you say, oh, enough is enough. I'm not going for that anymore. I'm going to find out why I've always been afraid of other people, and I am going to stop it. Even if I have to come to New Life Foundation and stand up in front of the class and shake miserably, and everybody see me shake, for 10 years I'm going to do it. And incidentally, off the subject of women for just a minute, a person who does stand up in front of the classes you saw them do, we say to them, now look, don't try to be brave, don't try to be bold, don't try to fake it now. You're allowed to stand up in front of there for 10 years or 15 years if you want, and every time you get up, you just shake, 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 and let everybody see what this does. It shows us how weak and scared we really are, and that's absolutely essential if we're ever going to get over it. A man who stands up, and we can spot them too, just as you said you were watching people. Every once in a while someone will stand up, a new person for example, and they'll bluff it, and they'll fake it, and they'll be a dramatic speaker, and everyone will start looking at each other and say, they're putting on an act. Now that person will never get over his fear because he's covering it up instead of exposing it, and eventually...
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 15 minutes before 2. Vernon Howard, Amy Bargiel's our guests, and we have one of the 7 dwarfs here, Sneezy.
I'm sorry, Harvey.
No problem. First of all, I don't think many people can hear it, and if you have to sneeze, it's better than exploding and keeping it inside. So, but it was beautiful today, or yesterday. It was 71 degrees, and I see the trees starting to blossom. I imagine a lot of people are dreading this time of year, but you don't have to dread having your television fixed anymore, because there is a place called Bloomer 17th, St. Patrick's Day. I don't know what day that's on. Today's the 1st. So 14 days from today would be the 15th. That's a Thursday. Today's the 2nd. So 15 days would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. New Life Barbershop Quartet.
The New Life Barbershop Quartet. They're great.
Irish songs.
All right. And we'll do some Irish songs, and we'll do some barbershop songs. West Coast AM, good morning. You're on the air with Vernon and Amy.
Good morning, Harvey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm not familiar with the guest, Harvey, so I'd like to, ask a few questions if I can.
Sure.
Mr. Howard, I'm not familiar with, you say it's a New Life Foundation. Is that a religion, or what is the function out there?
We don't try to label it, sir. We want to just offer it as a place where anyone can come and just leave outside the door all his conditioned ideas about himself, about life, because they're afraid of exposure of what they are. But they don't understand something. If they came to New Life Foundation and let us expose their hypocrisy, they would become real Christians. They would become Christians, in fact, not in exterior label at all. And then for the first time, they would have something that they think they already have, which is eternal life. Only a true Christian, that is someone who lives what Christ teaches as eternal life. If you call yourself a Christian, that is time thinking. That's a time label. And every so-called Christian who calls himself one is always afraid of everything, because he himself or she knows that he's not real at all. We teach at New Life Foundation, you must be first of all real. And the first real thing you find out about yourself is that you're lost, that you don't know what you're talking about, that you blab on and on and on and don't even know that you're talking on and on.
Well, that comes into the relationship with Christ. In other words, I agree with what you're saying, that there's a lot of people running around calling themselves Christians, and yet I don't think they have a relationship with Jesus. I mean, you follow what I'm saying?
Yes. Now look, it's so simple, and I'll tell you what to do, and all listeners could find this is very interesting. When a person calls himself a Christian, he calls himself religious, I want you to look at him very carefully, and I invite you to do it when you come to New Life Foundation. I want you to look at me very carefully. See if you can catch me off guard, and you won't, because I'm not on guard. I'm not playing a role at all. But you watch anyone who calls himself a Christian, and you watch that flash of hatred in their eyes, and you watch those sarcastic words, and you watch how they hate anything that isn't just like they are. And now you tell me, and don't tell them, by the way, they might get violent at you, but you tell yourself whether they're really a Christian or not. And when you see that they're not, that should be a lesson to you that you can become a real Christian.
Okay, Marty, do you want to hold on? We have to go to the news. Or do you want to call back?
I'll call back.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, we're going to pause for the news, and we'll continue with Vernon and Amy, so stay with us for more West Coast AM. That's what makes talk show radio. Because if you weren't there, we wouldn't be here, and vice versa. Anyway, welcome. Welcome back to the second hour. If you're just joining us, good morning. And it's 6 minutes past 2. My guests are Vernon Howard and Amy Bargios. And it's a Friday morning, TGIF Day, March the 2nd. So give us a call, 383-8255, area code 702. West Coast AM, good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning to three of my nicest people that I know without having met.
Well, thank you.
Good morning, Amy and Brett and Miss Greta.
Oh, hi, Greta.
You know something, on listeners that are not familiar with your works or not have read anything, they cannot leave religion behind. They will fight, die, cripple for it, classify it, constrict it, and leave it right there. They'll never go into a spirituality, which is what you teach. Then you can apply it to any religion that you care to. Is that not right?
That is correct. Once you have the truth being the only religion, once you have that, that's all you really need.
That is right. And then so many times when monumental things come to us in life, I call them the big boulders in the road. We go under them, over them, around them. But what trips us up in our daily attitude and reaction toward people is what you bring forth in your books. It's that little pebble that you stub your toe on.
Yes.
It's more trouble than anything else in the world, you know it?
Yes. People
I
are...
wanted to say good morning to you. I haven't written to you, Amy. I want that cosmic consciousness, but I've been involved with that naughty institution called a hospital again.
Oh, you're in the hospital again,
No,
huh?
I'm going over, though, probably within 5 days.
Uh-huh.
And so I want to buy that book, Cosmic Consciousness. If you want to send it to me and bill me, I'll send you a check forthwith.
Oh, Cosmic Command, you mean?
No, I think I'd have to open me a letter. It's the last words have these...
The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power, would that be
That's it.
Mystic Path to Cosmic Power.
I believe that's it.
We have a $3 edition.
Okay, well,
All right,
send it
fine.
to
Will
you.
you do that for
Yeah,
me?
so just $3 edition.
You
yeah.
bet.
All right, and very best to you.
Fine, thank you very
Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
for calling.
Bye-bye.
All right. 383-8255. Why do people get angry at people?
People get angry because they're insecure, because they're scared. Every angry human being is a frightened human being. And he's frightened because he's living from an artificial nature, artificial personality, which always gets angry when its false life seems to be threatened. So anger becomes both a defense and an offensive weapon by which he hopes to push away the threat, which can't happen because the threat is inside himself. He thinks it's outside. He thinks that the world persecutes him or his wife screams at him too much or something like that. So he gets angry.
Mr. Howard.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is the second time I've listened to this station and heard discussions regarding your school.
Yes.
You seem to studiously avoid any kind of labeling, and I believe I can understand your sound rationale for that, but if I may, I'd like to ask you a question.
Anything.
Realizing the difficulty there is with semantics,
Yes.
I would gather from what I'm hearing that your school is more accurately described as being one involving metaphysics or mysticism. Is that correct?
Again, we have the label. If you want to put that on it simply as a more or less generalization of what we do, then you can do that. If you want to say, are you a philosophical group? Then yes, the answer is yes. We're philosophical. That is, we don't...
What is mysticism?
Mysticism, in our definition, is something that is not intellectual. It's not mental, but authentically spiritual instead of intellectual.
I don't think that describes your New Life Foundation.
Oh yes.
Really?
Well, not we are spiritual, but we avoid the word mysticism. More or less, unless again we get into people getting wrong associations with it, which would throw them off. Again, here is the whole answer to all such questions, and to your question. Come out, if you can make it, come out to Boulder City, see for yourself what it is all about. Come to a meeting, sit down, Amy will come up and greet you, and you'll sit down. And
You'll get a cookie.
You'll get a cookie and coffee, and you'll get a few laughs, because you see, we're not tense down there, up there. We're not tense because we're relaxed in order to hear the truth. Come to the meetings and you'll find out why we don't want to label it strictly in any way at all. We would rather feel and experience the rightness rather than put a label on it.
I can understand your caution as far as labeling. No matter what you label it, you're going to drive away people who might potentially have much to benefit
Yes,
from.
that's a good comment, yes.
If I may, I have another question or two.
Anything you want.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
You mentioned that your background has been primarily one of a writer, but some years ago you began to realize that answers to the profound questions of mankind, you became aware that the answers were not to be had from external groups or sources. They were more to be realized through, I gather, one's intuition.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes. I looked out as a boy, and then I'm sure as Harvey did, and Amy as a girl, and you saw the falseness of adults in a little child. Didn't you notice how your parents deceived you? Yeah, your own parents kidded you along. I remember one time an adult told me he was going to fix my bike or something, and I knew the minute he said it. Here I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. I knew he was telling me an untruth, and you begin to lose confidence in people, and at the time you don't know it, but that's the best thing that could ever happen to you, to lose confidence in deceitful people, right? So, as to wrap it up real fast, I went through these experiences of seeing that there was no answers in society at all, and there was no answers in me. Now, where do you go next? If it's not out there and it's not inside, what are you going to do next?
The Reader's Digest.
Oh, a condensed version. Yeah. So there's one word left, and that word, and this is what one of our key thoughts is at New Life Foundation: explore. And you will find that if you explore, that it's a matter of tossing the junk out of your life little by little and letting the truth take its place. That's what it's all about. Come out sometime.
I understand from personal experience where you're coming from in that regard. I'm curious about something else.
Sure.
On the previous occasion when I listened to this program, there were a number of people who called in of and here we go with semantics again, of a Christian persuasion who were quite vehement in their opposition to what they thought you were saying.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit when Vernon's here, and I, for the life of me, cannot understand why anybody would be afraid of what Vernon has to say.
Well, I have a number of personal observations as to why that problem exists.
Go ahead.
That's kind of beside the point.
Well, why don't you tell us? I'd be happy to hear.
Well, I'd love to, but my circumstances at the moment are such that I don't have the necessary privacy to go into it.
All right.
Would you like me to summarize it for you? What I think you probably were going to say?
Go ahead.
Yes. People attacked the truth because they are afraid that what they call the truth is not the truth, and it isn't. And so when you tell the truth to a person who's living in falsehood, it's the falsehood being the only life he has, the only thing he can live with, he gets afraid that you're going to take away his life. But it's a false life, and the thing he should do is let truth take it away. People who call themselves religious or call themselves Christians have no choice but to be violent when Christ's truth comes along and tells them that they're all wrong, because they have their identities of being right. And Amy, how many times have I emphasized down at New Life Foundation that the greatest thing that can ever happen to any human being is simply to say, I have been wrong. I have been an idiot. I fought the truth. A person who does that has a chance for real salvation.
Well, you certainly hit the point, as I understand it. When people start to question their firmly held assumptions about things, it tends to shake them to the very roots of their foundations. They have to re-examine everything they've ever thought about existence and life.
Society is stupid, which it
No,
is.
she doesn't say they accept it. She says that those people feel that it's more acceptable.
Yes, exactly.
She feels that it's more...
May I ask, Miss, do you get angry?
No, I'm a crier.
Well, do you also get angry?
No, sir.
You never get angry?
No, I'm not an angry person. I'm like I said, I'm a very sensitive person, and something may trouble me that someone says or does, but then when they're not around, I'll go and cry about it for about 30 minutes.
Do you know that there's anger in tears?
Well, I'm sure there could be, but if you want to talk about labels, see, you're telling me on one hand, you're telling us that there are no labels, and yet you're labeling everything I say.
Are you angry with me now?
No, I'm not angry, but I have a definite opinion, and there's one thing I am is definite in what I feel, just like you are. And you talked about what are the words you used as spiritual. If you're going to say that partly what you do is spiritual, where do you get your definition for spiritual?
You would know it when you are spiritual.
But what makes your definition any better than someone else's definition of that? I'm trying to find out where the authority comes from.
Where the what comes from?
Authority.
Authority. The authority comes from the truth itself. If you would come out, and I very cordially invite you to come
She's
out.
up in Oregon. It's
All right. Write and send for some of the tapes and the books. And the answer to all your questions will be found in the books.
Why don't we give the address, Vernon, too,
Fine.
for Caroline and anybody else who would like to know about it. Okay.
Yeah, please, anybody listening who's interested in finding out more about Vernon Howard's teachings, please write to New Life, Box 684, Boulder City, Nevada, 89005. That's New Life, Box 684, Boulder City, Nevada, 89005. We'll send you lots of free literature.
I was just going to say, they don't have to purchase any tapes or buy any books.
Nothing.
We'll send you free.
They will send it free. Now, one thing she said that I have to agree that I think, and I've been there. The reason I say that, I've been there. I've been angry because I've been lonely, but I've also been angry because I was hurt, very deeply hurt. And again, I think what Carolyn has to say, there's really some substance to it. It hit a nerve with me.
Well, that's because the world recognizes anger as strength, but it's not. Look, if you walk around and say, "Oh, I've got hurt feelings," people look at you and they think, "Oh, you're weak." But if you go around bustling with anger, people think you're strong. See, the world's got everything.
Well, that's
backwards.
what she's saying.
Yeah.
She's saying that.
Yeah, the world's all backwards.
But I've experienced that. Yes, I've shown an anger toward a person rather than show the extreme hurt and disappointment.
Well, why
I'm
show anger at
experiencing
all?
now.
Isn't there another alternative, Harvey, than anger or hurt feelings? Isn't there another alternative?
What is the alternative?
Which is to be in charge of yourself. When you're
I think I am.
When you're angry?
No, I mean normally. Yeah.
A person who is furious, who is rageful, whether it's expressed outwardly or suppressed, is not thinking clearly, period. Now, you know that, and I know it. Even Amy knows.
Right.
Well, it's not as positive. It's not a positive, or it's not a creative or a positive emotion. There's no. It's a very debilitating and inhibiting emotion.
Anger's a storm. You're in a storm when you're angry. Who can think or see clearly in a storm? Everything's flying around. You don't know what way you're going.
Whenever the subject of anger is brought up, I always know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that people are going to defend it. Now, why would they defend such a useless thing as getting mad? Because it's a part of their fixed personality, Harvey, and they're afraid of losing it.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't defend my anger. If I would get angry, I do anything but defend it. In fact, most of the times, if I do lose control or get angry, become angry, I do not like myself because I know it's a weakness. So I never defend it. I never defend anger.
That's good.
Yeah. West Coast AM, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes.
Interesting conversation. I want to defend.
First thing I would know, I've been blind since I'm 6, but even way since I was a kid growing up, I've always had trouble with resentment and patience. And I wondered if you could help me out on that.
Well, he said he had trouble with resentment.
She said she had trouble with resentment and patience.
That's very nice for you to
I'm
know.
gonna get off the line and listen.
Okay, hon. All right.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, resentment and patience. She's had trouble since she's been a kid. And she'd like to know what you have to say about that.
Resentment means that we are living from a wrong position in life, in which we look out at life and say, how come I'm not handsome? How come I'm not rich?
I've wondered that many times.
You've wondered that.
I'm resentful of that.
How come I'm not rich?
I've wondered that more times than the other times.
We'll help you with your...
But I'm on my way. I'm looking for my second million. I'm tired of looking for my first.
Resentment means that you think that something outside of you can fulfill you, and why has it been denied to you? The pretty girl, you don't get the pretty girl, you don't get the money or whatever. When you know that reality is all you need, truth is all you need, there's no need to be resentful because you don't have all these greedy little demands, all of which everybody has, to say, if I only had that, I would be happy. You've got a lot of the things you said you should have, and you're still not happy. So we've got to get a little smarter than we are and get to seeing that acquisition or identification is not going to change our nature. We're talking about a change in our viewpoints, our attitudes, the way we see things. In short, we're talking about the way we are. And I will tell you, and this is a fact, society has mangled every single one of us. Amy could give experiences, Harvey could, I could, of the horrible things that were done to you when you were kids and growing up. You were lied to by society. That gives you that false personality, and we even say, when's it going to be my turn to yell at somebody? They've been yelling at me, when's my turn? See, that will increase and keep resentment in place because you're looking for someone to be an opposite to you where you have the power over them. The only power you need is to be a good human being. Now, listen to how profound that is, so simple. The only power you need is to be a simple, good, decent, honest man or woman. That is what being a real Christian is. There's no other definition, if you want definitions of being a Christian, than to be someone who is real, who has no need in his heart to hurt anyone else, to attack anyone else, to be vicious, but only to be a good, decent human being. And by the way, the gentleman asked about eternity. That is the eternal state because it's the truthful state.
Okay, and if I just may add this before we go to we have a commercial or two, and then we'll take some more calls. The gentleman asked what is your basic premise or philosophy or direction. He didn't like labels, but I think what I see in Vernon and what he has to say is borders on common sense approach to life,
Right.
positive thinking, and all those things that if you understand and apply, can only help you, cannot hurt you, and that's what he's saying. And yet we do get, and every time Vernon is on, and he welcomes the detractors, and he handles them well. He doesn't show any hatred. I believe Vernon practices what he teaches, not preaches. I truly believe that.
Right.
We'll be right back. Here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry I had to be so short with you, but time waits for no one.
That's okay. Mr. Howard?
Yes, please.
Yes, I have a book of yours that a family member left behind. Secrets of
of mental magic.
Yes.
And I haven't read it yet, but I thought I would.
That's one of the older books. For an update on the new books, why don't you write to New Life Foundation or write to Vernon Howard, Box 684, Boulder City, Nevada, 89005. We'll send you a complete later list of books, okay?
Okay. I was just wondering what this insignia or whatever it is on the book is.
I have not seen the book for some time. It's out of print, so I don't... What can you describe it to us?
Well, it has a circle with, I don't know what they are.
Sometimes they put symbols on just to... the publisher puts them on to make them attractive.
Well, I thought maybe it meant something.
No, look at the contents of the latest books.
It looks interesting.
Yeah, sure.
I was just wondering, what do you believe happens to us when our body dies?
It depends on how you lived. If you receive eternal life by seeing that you did not have life when coming into this world, if you see that you were lost, that you did not have life, but you're living only from words, only from in time, in a time nature, if you understand that, then that is the time for you to invite something that is not a part of your usual nature. You will know what it means to have eternal life when you have it. And the best way to explain it to you is to say that it is not like anything that you now have. Because what we all but human beings now have are troubles and griefs and fear. This is what people live in. And that obviously cannot be eternity because it's in the time state. All these negative impressions and moods that we have are part of the mind, and it is the mind that creates time. When you are able to be free of your mind and use it only for practical purposes of everyday life, when you don't use the mind to give you an identity by saying that you're great or famous or marvelous or even evil, when you do not label yourself at all with your mind, when you have dropped all labels, all identifications, then you rise above the time world and you enter eternal life, and you will know that it's eternal because you have it within you as your personal witness. And then when someone asks you the difference between the time life and the eternal life, you'll have to do to them what I've just done to you, to explain it with words, and then encourage them to have the experience. And you will have that experience if you come out to New Life Foundation. You'll know that as you leave the clocks and calendars behind, that you'll find something that is far above them.
Then, in other words, you believe that that my feeling about what will happen to me won't happen.
There is no me for anything to happen to. There is only a conditioned me, a false me, an invented me, and an imaginary me. When you get rid of all these imaginary selves that you have inside of you, that cancels time, and what takes its place is an identity that is known by you. You're aware of it. You're conscious of yourself being a point of light, you could call it that, but you are free from all the fearful identities. You ever notice how afraid you are that you're not going to continue as being Mary or Bill? You're afraid that that's going to come to an end. When you permit that to come to an end deliberately and consciously, that is what is known as dying to the old nature. That is the crucifixion of the old nature that Christ taught by his example. And then after the crucifixion of your old, false, hostile, angry, hateful nature, then there is the resurrection. And that resurrection will be very, very real to you because you know that you've gone through the experience that was waiting for you all along. And let me just encourage you to please continue with your inner studies of spiritual matters and let truth guide you all the way from the wilderness and then through the dark tunnel and then through on top of the mountain.
Well, but you see, it already has.
You're already a free human being?
Pardon?
Did you say you already have what, please?
I already know what's going to happen to me. And what has happened to me now.
I'm talking...
Area code 702 or just 383-TALK. That'll get you through. Right now, we'd like to tell you about BioLine. And word is out, and it's an exciting word, that BioLine can make your life a lot more pleasant.
Yes?
Yes, what?
Oh, I have a question.
Yes. Would you turn your radio down, sir?
Okay.
All right, you must turn your radio down when you call because we're on a 6-second delay, and that'll throw you if you do not do that. Okay.
All right. What do you do in a case when you do things to please other people or say things to...
You have a book for that, don't you, Vernon?
Oh, yes, a big book on that. Why do you want to please people? To impress them? Is that why you want to please people?
No.
To make
It's
them
just
like
that, like if somebody say something and you just say something back to them just to keep them... You figure if you say what you really feel, it might hurt their feelings. They may dislike you, so you just say what you may think make them feel good.
Well, when your mind is very clear, when you don't want anything from anyone, I'm not talking about wanting potatoes from the market or you're having your car repaired, when you are so complete in yourself that you don't want anything from anyone else, there will be no such thing as a question of how you should behave, how you should talk, how you should deal with other people. Instantly, and everyone you meet, no matter what they are or how they are, you will know how to behave toward them. And all the time you will be very, very polite. Not the politeness of weakness, but the politeness of strength. Because you know who you are, and nothing can ever disturb you. Therefore, you don't need to impress anyone. You don't need to avoid their wrath. Because there's no way that an angry world can ever hurt you. So, as a brief answer to your question, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Okay, here we are. 2 hours by the boards, and time always flies when Vernon and Amy stop by. And before we forget, we're going to go into the news, and then we'll come back and we'll visit with Amy and Vernon for a little while longer. But please have the barbershop quartet. I've been practicing.
Oh, yes, they've got nice Irish songs.
Do they?
All you want.
Outstanding.
They're going to bring you copies of the words, too.
Oh, great. Oh, that'll be a lot better, because otherwise I just lip sing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be back right after the news. Stay with us.
Harvey Allen will be back with more West Coast AM immediately following the news. Please stay tuned. It's